We did approach a number of people who've today publicly defended Boris Johnson on social media platforms, but none were willing to come on the programme. Instead, we spoke to the Labour MP, Catherine West. She first asked Boris Johnson about the Partygate gatherings during Prime Minister's questions in December 2021.
Well, the report is even more serious than many of us believed it to be, in that it does appear that there were a series of lies being told. And it's just deeply disappointing that somebody who's held the highest political office could go down that deep into a series and a web of lies and untruths. And I'm very proud of my fellow MPs who played a really straight bat, took off their party political hats, because obviously it was a majority Conservative committee which wrote the report, and were basically very damning of the former Prime Minister's behaviour. And I feel Parliament really has had its day in the sun today, because what we saw was that MPs are capable of holding one another to account through our committee system. And I'm really impressed that my colleagues came to the conclusions they did. It's a very hard-hitting report, and I'm just delighted that Parliament's done the right thing, and that the institution of Parliament, where everybody votes in their local representative, we come here to Westminster, and in Westminster we have these committees which are voted through by the House, that they can hold to account each of us, even those who hold the highest office in the land. So, Laura, I'm delighted that the system has worked, and that they've found the lies to be intolerable, and that they have made very, very strong recommendations following this report, which we then get to vote on Monday.
You just mentioned there, Catherine, the fact that it was a majority Conservative committee. There have been some questions over the committee itself. Johnson's assertion is that the committee amounted to a kangaroo court. We know that the chair, Harriet Harman, who led the committee, has been questioned over her suitability in the role. Jacob Rees-Mogg earlier today has also said that that is why this report is fundamentally flawed. What do you say to that?
That's a further abuse of Parliament, and a further abuse of our long-standing tradition of Parliament in the UK. People out there vote for us as MPs to come to Westminster and to pass laws and to have debates, and they also vote for us to sit on committees proportionate to how many MPs each party has. So is the former Prime Minister really saying of his own colleagues who are the dominant party and passed this report, which was a consensus-based report, they didn't have a vote on it, they passed it in consensus, that those Conservative Party MPs are doing the wrong thing, or that somehow it's improper or a kangaroo court? That's just a further abuse and a further criticism of the Westminster tradition, which has been robust for this many years. And it does remind me of the prorogation of Parliament and how Parliament was belittled. And so then when the court looked at it, decided that Parliament was sovereign. This is another example of Parliament being sovereign over a Prime Minister, and I think a former Prime Minister in this case, and I think Parliament has won the day.
Catherine, thank you very much for giving us your time today. Catherine West, Labour MP for Hornsey and Wood Green. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.